So going beyond just using the inbuilt generic wind turbines, it's possible to edit your own wind turbine parameters into WindFarm Designer. In this video, we are going to be looking at Turbine Studio, where the Turbine Studio module is used for the creation and editing of turbine data and geometry, and has an integrated listing/display dialog, which improves energy yield analysis, provides energy yield analysis of individual turbine mix. Hi there, and welcome to Catchment of Resources. So you can see here parameters for a wind turbine, which includes the cut-in wind speed and the cut-out wind speed, as well as the power generated at each wind speed location. So all of this data is what could be edited for a new wind turbine. So this graph that you can see here is the kind of graph that you can use for any OEM for wind turbines. Can provide the data, and you can be used to change the configuration of how this graph looks like. So that's the essence of this Wind Turbine Studio. You can change parameters, hub height, you can change diameter, change the power that is also being generated for each wind speed location. So through that, the power graph can be plotted. So there are various properties for the. So there's also the thrust graph, the coefficient of power, the coefficient of thrust. There are different graphs for this. The energy yield. So using the annual, the 24-hour data, and other parameters. So you can see here all of this for the wind turbine. So you can actually update. So if you look to the right, the instructions to the right, you can update, or you can also edit the data. So select the turbine data from the edit menu to see the pre-configured spreadsheets used for editing and data entry. You may need to click on the page down key if the scroll bar does not appear. So you can even edit geometry from the edit menu. So you set the steps here. Select the steps tab and mean wind speed button, then set the first value to 6, the last value to 10, and the increment to be 0.5. So we are opening a rows file, wind rows file, to see what is going to generate for us. So with that wind rows file, is giving us a different. It's going to give us a different power generated from this information. So for turbine data, we can see here some parameters which can be edited. So you can see editing data. Select turbine data from the edit menu to see the pre-configured spreadsheet used for editing and data entry. You may need to click on the page down key if the scroll bar does not appear. So you should be able to view all of the parameters that can be changed. So there are a lot of data. Once you are using your own, you need to change a lot of data according to the parameters for the wind turbine system being used. So most of all this power is going to change at the different points. So for each wind speed, you are going to have power, you are going to have thrust. So you are going to edit it according to what the data sheet for that wind turbine says, which is how your own wind turbine system is going to be updated So it's going to be a user-defined wind turbine system as opposed to the already pre-configured wind turbine data in the system. So you can also save it at the end of it or as your own with your own name for wind turbine system. So you can see I changed the diameter. So me changing the diameter does not impact on the power, although the power actually changes, meaning that you are going to input all of this data based on the data sheet from the manufacturer of the wind turbine. However, this data, for example the swept area, the wind diameter, all of these are going to be used in the wind farm simulation. But in terms of the wind power generated by the wind turbine, this has to be imputed in order for it to be used for the wind turbine analysis for the wind farm. So you can see here the nominal rated power. I can change it, so it's editable. So if we are changed, so we are going to, if we are changed all the power and thrust and all those information, the graph is going to change accordingly. So this is just a test. So you can see that some of the parameters will affect the design, some will not. So you need to input all of the values that are required editing so that you can get the right properties of the wind turbine system. So we are going to editing geometry. So select geometry from the edit menu. A tab dialog will appear, general geometry information, on the first page and the other pages containing the geometry of the tower, blade, hub and nacelle. This geometry is used to create the turbine graphical images in the photo montage module. Tower height, top radius, the blade itself, the hub, and then the nacelle. So you can edit different parameters here. So once you are done, you click OK and you click exit. So we are done with this step. In future steps we are going to look on other features. Thank you for watching this video. This is Catchment of Resources, where we create for better living.